Good morning. Happy Monday. This is our second Monday. Meditate with me on Mondays in this series, and I am coming to you bright and early this Monday morning to talk to everyone about imperfection. So I woke up, I did brush my hair, but I'm here, rolled out of bed, just as I am, because I know that the women that I work with, and I know for myself as a recovering perfectionist, that perfectionism runs along with having a strong inner critic. So I wanted us to really think about imperfection today and really use that in our meditation to start to embrace all of us and to have a different perspective when it comes to perfectionism. So I'm just going to note at the beginning of this meditation that perfectionism, I think, is really influenced by our culture. We see a lot of perfect images, especially of women, but it also happens for men. We are expected to achieve high, and there are, I think, expectations that that look a certain way. And so I don't want us to think that we've created this all ourselves. Not that you do, but that this really is something that we're steeped in, that perfectionism is something that's easy to come by because our culture really values it. So another perspective is called Wabi Sabi, and I may be pronouncing it totally wrong. I'm sure my husband will correct me. He knows. He lived in Japan for a while. So it's an idea in Japan. It comes from Japan, and it's this kind of expression of honoring and appreciating things that are imperfect. It's this idea of impermanence and kind of imperfection that just exists, and how that can actually be even more beautiful. So I have this really touched me when I was looking. I've kind of dabbled in and out of learning about this idea. So someone who wrote a sweet book about this concept called Richard Powell, he wrote that Wabi Sabi really nurtures authenticity. And that's what I think people value authenticity. I know that I do. I think people resonate with authenticity. So more than perfection, people do resonate with authenticity. And that's what this concept is talking about, how it nurtures authenticity by acknowledging these three things. So nothing lasts. So everything falls away. This is a very Buddhist philosophy. So nothing lasts. Nothing is finished. And I just want to pause after that one. So nothing is finished. That means you are never finished. Nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. So nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. And I know for me, when I let that kind of sink into me, and I think about how can I embrace all of me and hold my imperfections, there is this sense of peace that happens, because I cannot achieve perfection. No matter how long I work, no matter how much energy I put into it, how much I plan, things go awry. Life is messy. So chasing after perfection is a really exhausting thing and can really wear us down, both emotionally, mentally, physically. And there's such grace and ease and relief, sometimes anxiety-provoking relief, by setting down that burden of perfectionism. So that's what we're going to explore today in our meditation. So if you want to get comfortable, however you like to meditate, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths again, just really arriving in this space, and then on the exhale, letting go of whatever happened beforehand. Breathing in and letting go. Breathing in and letting go. Breathing in and letting go. And I'm going to invite you to put your hand on your heart, because this journey around perfectionism, or even just trying to achieve some sort of like really high version of our lives that feels ideal or perfect, this striving for it can feel kind of tender. I'm going to invite you, if it feels comfortable, to put your hand over your heart. And I want you to bring to mind an instance where you were striving, where you really wanted things to go exactly as planned. You wanted to show up exactly a certain way, and you had that desire for some sort of perfect outcome, perfect look. And just recall what that feels like. Whether you were preparing endlessly, or spending lots of time in front of the mirror trying to get your look just right, or maybe not doing something because you weren't sure that you could do it perfectly. Let's bring a moment to your mind where you really wanted it to be perfect. Just notice how that feels in your body. I know for me, when I connect to that moment, there's kind of like a tension. It's like a tension in my stomach that's like kind of like an ache, and I feel this jumpiness all over the kind of center of my body. I don't feel grounded. I feel really kind of up in my head. My breath tends to come a little bit faster. What do you notice? What do you notice in your body when you bring to mind that desire for perfection? And just let it be there. Whatever's happening, just notice it. Let it be here. Just let it be. And nothing to fix or change or shift. We're just noticing. All right. Let's take a couple breaths and just shake that off. So if it helps you to like physically shake it off, do that. You just want to kind of do some deeper breaths to kind of let it go. Okay. Now I want you to bring to mind, I'm going to give a couple ideas of things you can bring to mind and find one that works for you. So I want you to bring to mind either a situation that didn't work out as planned, or a person that you know in your life that you deeply love, but you also really know their imperfections, their flaws. Someone that you know, but also has so many flaws. And then this also could be an item in your life. So you could choose an item that, so my favorite tea mug, it has some chips in it, but it's my favorite, and it's not perfect, but it's one that I use every day, and it has sentimental value to me. And the chips show the wear and tear and love. So either find an incident where things didn't go as planned, find a person that is flawed, but you love them, or an item that shows that it's imperfect in some way, but that you use all the time and appreciate it for its usefulness. So bring to mind that. One of those things. And I want you to feel into, how does that feel in your body? How does that event feel that didn't go as planned? Does it feel hard? Does it feel tense? Is there still a lot of regret with that person that you love that has imperfections, flaws, qualities that are challenging? Does that shift the way that you feel with them? What do you feel holding both your love for them and their innate humanness, their imperfection? And with your item, if you bring it to mind, what does that feel like? And just notice. Again, this is just a noticing. We're just bringing awareness to how perfection and imperfection lives inside of you. I know for me, when I think about an incident that didn't go well or didn't go as planned, there is that twinge of regret. There's this need to feel like I want to do it over again sometimes. A desire to plan more. So that's where perfectionism partly lives in me, this desire to do more next time. Like, I'm not going to make that same mistake. I'm not going to let that happen again. And it does. It feels like a cycle and a hamster wheel inside me. So that's one aspect of perfectionism for me. And with the other two, if I sit with it, there's like a relaxing of like a soothing sense, a more grounded feeling. Maybe still a little bit of an ache, but it's much more connected when I think about an item that I love that's imperfect, or a person that I love that's definitely imperfect. Some of that ache still is there, but a lot of it is really grounded in just this sense of wholeness. Within the brokenness, within the flaws, there's a sense of wholeness. How does that live in you? Just notice. And please know your experience can be wildly different than mine. There's nothing right or wrong. We're just noticing. Notice physical sensations, notice thoughts. Just sit and be with what arises, even if that's nothing. Okay, going ahead and taking some deeper breaths or shaking that off. I want you to imagine that you are in a circle of safety, of love, whatever you can imagine that feels really safe. So it may be a place that you feel really safe, or just even drawing a circle in your mind and saying this is a safe and loving space, and mentally plop yourself in the middle. And I want us to try and expand that circle to allow all of us to reside inside. So maybe you can imagine, or I'm going to invite you to imagine, all the different aspects of yourself. The aspect, the part of you that strives for perfection, the perfectionist in you, the part of you that gets really angry at certain things, the part of you that is incompetent in some area, all of the aspects of you. So the positive and what you might be labeling as the negative. See, you're sitting in this centered space where you're in the middle, you as the witness and observer, and you're in this safe circle. And I want you to see if you can imagine making the circle just a little bit wider. because I'm guessing the parts of you that you don't enjoy, the imperfect parts of you, the parts that I'm going to argue make you wildly, beautifully human, because we are all imperfect, which doesn't actually make us less lovable. We're going to see they're at the edges. Those parts of us that we don't like as much often are not in that inner circle. They're often what I found kind of on the way periphery. So I want us to enlarge the circle. Just imagine kind of like seeing if the circle can spread out like ripples. When you toss a pebble into a pond, the ripples, how they expand out. I want us to just take a couple breaths and see if we can hold the circle and see if we can expand out and notice all the different parts that we might be able to embrace just for a moment. So taking a breath, imagining yourself, maybe you are the stone. So imagining that circle, plopping yourself in, noticing those circles expanding outwards and seeing if you can see how far out those parts of ourselves that we've maybe shunned or don't like. See if we can expand the ripples out, the circles out enough to include them. Ready? And in yourself going bloop. Just really observing where are all the parts of you hiding? Where are they? How far out are they? How many circles out do you have to go to expand to reach them? And just notice, these are all aspects of you. Can you include them in your circle of safety and care and love, even for a moment? Coming from this idea that for your own authenticity, to show up as your own authentic self, that you need these parts of you. There's no perfect place to get to. There's no end goal that is perfect. Nothing is finished. Viewing yourself as a process, a work in progress, a piece of art in progress. Yeah. See how that lands for you. Nurturing this sense of authenticity. Remembering that nothing stays the same, nothing is ever finished, nothing is perfect. And just taking a moment to see how those words land in you, how the experience of trying to accept and grow out your acceptance to hold all the parts of you, how that was. And then just coming back, centering back in your body, coming home to yourself. We're going to end this meditation again with 3 deep breaths, just really breathing in and trying to arrive inside your body. On the exhale, letting it go, letting the meditation go for now. Breathing in, letting go. Breathing in, letting it go. Awesome. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you can go into your week thinking about how your imperfection also can bring you authenticity.